What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, aka Prize Pictures. I've got another camera roll review. I kind of want to show you some of the pictures that I took yesterday. I went out again after work. I had the next day off, so I figured, let me go out and get some work done here with this camera and have the next day off so I can just revitalize myself, and decided to take the camera out after work yesterday. I got off at 3:30, so I got downtown. I went downtown again at about 4:30 in that area, and it was Sunday, so I kind of knew it wasn't going to be a lot of traffic and don't have to deal with the usual hassles that I usually do on a weekday. At the same time, it's kind of like, I didn't think there would be a lot of people out and about because it was Sunday, and that was kind of cool too. I had an area in my mind that I wanted to visit, and I didn't end up going there. Ended up going towards the area I was going to go to, and then seeing a new development. I've passed this new development multiple times before, but I never actually got out and walked around there to take any pictures. And it's kind of like an industrial area of the neighborhood of the city, but there's like some residential developments that are happening there as well. So there's like a brand new spot there, and I kept, I kept passing this one place, and I told myself one time I want to go and take some pictures there because there's like this, it's like a huge propeller, and I always wanted to go there and take pictures in that area, and I never did. So I decided, let me see if I could find an area to park right here, because that's kind of one of the things about going downtown is that parking. So I have to kind of situate myself so that I won't have any problems getting my car towed or anything like that. So I ended up finding a spot across from this recreational center. I guess kind of had like a tennis complex and like a indoor swimming pool. And I've kind of been in that area a couple times before, but I didn't really go to the new area that I was going to. So I went a little bit north. So that's where I parked. I parked in front of this this recreational complex that had like a pool and a tennis court. People are out there playing pickleball and all that stuff. And I've been in that area before, like I said, and I was tempted to go back to the area where I've shot pictures before, but I was like, no, let me try something new and go to this new area. And I wandered a little bit and found my way there. I walked and started walking up the street and started taking pictures of this new area, this new development, and I'm gonna kind of show you some of the photos I took on my photo roll here. And I took multiple photos. Now, some of these are edited already for taste, and I've already kind of decided, narrowed down the photos that I'm going to be using, or the photos that came out good. And I noticed that when I counted how many photos I took, it was like the count was pretty high. It was like over 500, and that's pretty typical for me. I take a lot of photos. I'm very liberal with the photos that I take, I guess. Because I want to maximize myself and maximize my chances, and I enjoy it too. And I've got electronic shutter going on. Anyway, I'll show you, I guess, from the beginning where I started. Where I started getting photos. Like there was these stairs and these steps, and I could see from a distance that they had like these edges because the way the sun was hitting them and the way the shadows were going there. And I thought to myself, that would make kind of a cool picture, especially if someone was going up those stairs. But there wasn't very many people around, and it's kind of like an apartment complex. And I don't want to look suspicious. They got cameras and people looking at me, and so I'm very discreet, and I'm trying to be as tasteful as possible and not trying to bring so much attention to myself, because I know some people will get the wrong idea. So I just kind of took some photos of the areas that I thought would look kind of cool, and got some frame myself up, and I wanted to get some pictures of some people going through. But again, it was a Sunday, and I knew a lot of people weren't going to be going up and down those stairs. So I kind of did a thing where I have a custom mode on my camera where I can, I kind of found somewhere to set the camera down, and I kind of walked up the stairs myself. Sometimes I do that just to get an idea of what it would look like with somebody in the frame. Now, it's not something I'm going to actually use, but it's just to get an idea of what it would look like if there was someone coming in the picture in the frame. And so I did that a couple of times, and I'm going to have to change the settings on that custom thing too, because it only gives 3 pictures like every 5 seconds or so, but you can arrange it to make it like 5 pictures instead, because 3 pictures doesn't seem to be enough. I'm walking, and then the camera is going to take pictures at a certain interval, and it doesn't always come away with the best photos, because I don't know, it just takes practice. So I'm gonna continue to hone that skill and get better at doing that for future reference. And who knows, maybe I'll be in my own picture one day and kind of make it look cool. I tend to shy away from being in my own pictures, but if it comes out really good, then maybe I'll keep one of them. But anyway, yeah, there was these stairs, and I took multiple angles and multiple views, and I'm trying to crop out of the image the most, all the distractions. There were some people there in the background in the area, like walking their dogs and coming back from wherever they were going on a walk or whatever. And I don't know, if someone would walk through there and they would be, if I didn't make it so, if it wasn't so obvious, I would take their picture. I'm not too proud to do that. I actually like people in my pictures a lot of times, if the person is right, if the angle is right, and if the subject enhances the photo. And I use them just as a prop in the background, just as a decoration in the background. But I got a couple of angles and trying to get an idea of getting those shadows to kind of like jagged, like get the shadows to look more jagged, but it didn't come out that great on these photos. I mean, it's okay, but I'm just getting ideas and trying to explore, see what's there. And so this development is kind of like a lot of bricks, and the shadows aren't that great off of bricks. I like to have my surfaces clean, and you could get away with some with brick backgrounds and brick floors, but I like more of a clean edge on my surfaces. But it still came out okay. They had like this towering, glimmering, I don't know what it was, like a decoration, a glimmering decoration, almost like a waterfall, but made out of some type of glittering metal that cut up into pieces that were put together really tightly, kind of like a fabric. So I took a picture of that. I guess that was kind of cool. I wasn't going to come up with much on that. I sometimes just take photos just for the heck of it, and I don't know, sometimes you get back and you edit it and it might come out pretty cool in the edit. I have a couple examples of that. Kept walking, and I was seeing all types of cool looking angles, and the way the light was falling into like some of the hallways there, and the areas where you go to park and stuff like that. This is kind of near the parking deck if you were going to go inside this complex. And it was kind of cool. There was nobody walking. It would look cool if there was somebody walking through there. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a pretty cool shapes, pretty much, with the light. And I like that angle. So, I'm going to keep an eye on that. Maybe next time I go there, I'll see if I can do something more with it. Maybe there'll be more people around, and maybe if someone was walking with their back toward me, that would probably be the ideal thing on that one. And then they had like this flooring, like they had, what's the word I want to say? It wasn't real grass. They had like turf, I guess. And they had some seating areas, like this turf area where they have this seating, and they have like these seats where you can sit down, and the sun was shining really good. Like it was hitting good. And there were some shapes coming off the chairs and the tables, and there was lines coming through. And I was trying to just get an angle to see if I could get something simple, a simple composition, because a lot of times the simple compositions come out the best. And there were a few shots that I got that I thought would be okay, but when I came back to edit them, they were just okay. They weren't really like bangers that I would think. There was one area though where it came out like they had like these, I don't know, it was like a table, furniture, like blocks. And that kind of looked cool. Like I tried to angle my camera to minimize any distractions, and I just wanted to get certain shapes to kind of look that might be, that might look okay when I edited them, and this is one of them that came out decent on the edit. And I kind of work the area, work the scene. I get low, I get high, and that's kind of what I like about photography. It makes me move my body in certain ways that, I don't know, I like to it's kind of exercise, a good form of like mindfulness, I guess. Your body, keeping your balance and just moving certain ways. The photography just gets me. It gets me. Like, I like the way it makes me feel when I move my body when I'm doing photography. And then, I saw this another seating area that was made out of concrete, and saw the way that the tree, the shadow of the tree was falling on it, and I could see the stem of the tree was like broken up almost in a certain way. If you look at the picture, you can see how that stem is broken up between the chair, the leg of the table, and on the table itself. And that kind of made it look like a discontinuity, which is kind of cool. And I don't know, I took a couple of snaps of this, and I edited this one. I had to crop a little bit some of the edges, and it came out decent. I think this might be a photo I could use. I could do something with this one. I think it's pretty okay. And then I took like a further one that was when I was standing further back where you can see that tree. I went to the other side of it because I could work multiple angles. I worked it from the front side and then from the back side. And I kind of got a little bit of the background to where the seating area was, so you can kind of see what's going on in that picture. And that kind of was cool, just to get a different angle, a different side of it. And I don't know, both of those photos look pretty decent. So it's just a matter of deciding which one you think would be best. I tend to just want to use one or two photos from each area or from each scene. I don't want to do too many because it just kind of overwhelms. I just want to take the best out of that one scene. So I don't know, maybe I'll use them both. I don't know, because I like a little bit of variety in my photos. I don't want all the if all the scenes kind of look the same, that you took all those pictures in the same place. I don't want that. I want something more original, for me at least. Kept walking down a little bit more, and this is where I told you earlier, there was like this propeller that I kept driving by, that I kept seeing. I was like, one day I'm going to make a good photo out of that propeller. It wasn't the day this day, because of the way the angle, the light was hitting it, and I was the sun was facing it instead of me being behind the sun to take the picture to get the right angle. But down a little bit further from that propeller, there was like this fence, and I saw like a peeling paint, and I kind of like when there's a contrast between like white and black, or any type of contrast where there's like cracks or patterns or any type of gaps or anything like that. And I saw a kind of pattern on the wood fencing there because I saw the paint peeling out. The light wasn't really hitting it that great, but I worked around it to get an angle that might give me a good background. I think that's what I was having problems with. It was the background on this one. That post is, there's multiple of those posts, and I just chose the one that I saw that had the most potential, and I got real close to it, and I just kind of got that background of the fence in the background to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. This picture is okay too, but it's nothing revolutionary. I don't think I'm going to use it for anything, but I thought it was pretty decent, and I took the photo and just kind of see what I can come up with. And it's an art and a science, and I thought that photo came out pretty decent after I edited it. So I don't know, it's okay. And then a little further down the road, I was walking, and like I saw some trees on the road, the shadow of the trees on the road, and then not too far from there was like a bar, and like some people who drive motorcycles, like they were in that bar, and I guess they were driving in and driving out, and a couple of the motorcycles drove by, and I was like, well, let me try to use these the shadow on the ground on the street of the trees as a backdrop when these motorcycles drive by, to get a couple of photos to see what I could come up with. And this is one of the photos that I came up with, and I've edited like all of these to taste using this one preset, because I don't know, it seems like if you use one preset for a bunch of photos on one set, it kind of makes it a cohesive project, kind of. And this is the one that I use. I was gonna try to use a color, but the color didn't really do a whole lot to add a whole lot to the image. And I prefer black and white overall to color, even though I do like color. And this is the photo that I came up with that I thought was cool, and I just kept this one. There's some other versions of this where the motorcycle drove by. I was using an electronic shutter, and so it's not that sharp. So when the motorcycle drove by, I think my shutter speed was 200, and probably needed to be a lot faster to freeze the action. But you get the idea on this photo. It's not perfect, but I kind of like this photo. This is a surprising photo. I didn't think this was going to be a good one, but once I edited it, I was like, you know what? I actually like this one, and that's a little surprise, a pleasant surprise. I kind of like that. And then there was another motorcycle. I think one was like a sport bike, and another one was more of like a cruiser. And I took pictures of those, and there was, I tried to use that tree as a background, as you can see, and that came out cool. And I really like this photo here where I must put the sport bike. And then, I kind of walked a little bit further, and there was this area where someone was having a wedding. A couple was having a wedding, and I could see the festivities, and I can hear the sounds and all that. And then I was walking through this area where they were having the wedding. It's like this complex, and there's a lot of sights and sounds and like constructions. I saw an awesome photo, but when I turned around, there was someone in a car, and the fencing was on. The shadow of the fencing was on his car, and it looked really cool. I was like, I gotta get a photo of that. But there was someone in the car looking at me, like, and we met eyes, and then I was like, oh, it kind of blew my high, and it blew my idea. I was like, oh man, I wish I could have taken a photo. If no one was in that car, it would have been perfect. But I bypassed that and just went to kept walking, and I saw this fence, and I saw this tree. And there was a sign there. I took a couple of photos with the tree and the sign and the fence, and this one came out okay. I kind of like the lines in that fence. I think that's what does it for me, the lines in that fence. And that came out pretty decent, so that's kind of a cool photo. And I saw this pole where there was a palm tree with the shadow on the that was casting on the palm, the shadow of the palm trees were casting on the pole. So I took that couple of photos of that, couple of versions of that photo. So that kind of came out okay too. And then I tried to get cute on this one area, like more palm trees, like tried to get in a corner to just isolate that one little section of that palm tree, but it's just kind of too small. It wasn't doing much, but I still take the photo, and I'm still practicing, and I'm still maximizing my chances. And there was some brick on the ground, and I just tried to get some shapes, lines, patterns, textures, all that stuff. There were some trees. I get kind of fancy sometimes when I see trees. Sometimes you can, if you place the branches just right against like an element of a background, maybe some power lines and maybe some birds would be really cool too. You can see how that might be a cool picture if you have maybe even just the right clouds in the background. That would just kind of make a good picture, but there was no clouds going on, and that's just an idea for me. Maybe I'll come back and I can somehow get to that same area and find a different composition, a better composition next time. So that's cool. There was these buildings, and that time of day when I was there, 4 or 5 p.m., the way the sun was hitting on them, it was kind of reflecting off the windows, which was kind of cool. And the one thing about this photo, though, I had multiple versions of this photo, and the sky, the EM1 Mark II, the camera, it's not that great with gradients. So that sky to me wasn't that great. And so I have to kind of be careful with my post-processing, because that gradient will show up. I had another version of this photo, and because there was like this, I don't know what to say it was, but there was like these screws. There was like this post with these screws and these holes in there. I wanted to get that as a foreground element and use that building as a background, but the sun wasn't hitting on that angle on that pole, and you can't really see those screws that much. So I don't know, maybe I'm gonna go there in the morning next time. Maybe the sun will hit at a different angle and light that pole up a little bit more. Maybe if I had a flash on my camera, that would make it even better too. I have a flash, but I don't carry it with me. And so that's kind of one of the downsides to the camera that I carry. It doesn't actually have a built-in flash, and maybe with my next camera, I'll try to get one with a built-in flash, because that could be helpful. But that's what I got for my photo walk yesterday. I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. The police were kind of following me. I could tell because they kept driving past me all the time. I'm like, why do the police keep trying? They kind of think I look suspicious. I'm not doing anything wrong, but you know, I'm like, why don't they go fight some real crime? But like, the police passed me 3 or 4 times, and I don't know. I guess that neighborhood, like across the street, it could get kind of dicey because it looks like it's a project housing over there. So maybe that's what it was. But I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed my walk. I had a good time, and let me know if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and all that good stuff. It's John Dominique, Prize Pictures.